Welcome to Creepy, the best horror storyteller on YouTube.
Tuesday, September 11th, 2001. The sterile white walls of the emergency room felt colder than usual despite the afternoon sun streaming through the windows. Dr. Amelia Turner, usually brimming with her usual brand of chaotic energy, found herself moving with a practiced calm. It was a slow day, a welcome respite from the usual hustle and bustle. A lone TV hung from the corner, its soft murmur a background hum to the beeps and whirs of the machines. Suddenly, the news report jolted Amelia from her routine. A plane! The World Trade Center. An accident, she thought, a knot of unease tightening in her stomach. But then, another report, the second tower ablaze. Accident morphing into dread, Amelia watched, glued to the screen, as the horror unfolded. This was no accident. The ER erupted into action. Calls were made, staff scrambled, gurneys were readied. Amelia and her team, a well-oiled machine honed by years of experience, steeled themselves for the onslaught. This was their purpose, to be the calm in the storm, the menders of broken bodies. The first casualties arrived, a trickle turning into a steady stream. Burn victims, their skin a horrifying tapestry of red and black, their screams echoing through the sterile halls. Fractures from the collapse, the dust clinging to their clothes like a shroud. Amelia and her team worked tirelessly, fueled by adrenaline and a grim determination. They were prepared. The news blared the collapse of the South Tower. A wave of nausea washed over Amelia, but she pushed it down. They were prepared. Then, the North Tower. The world seemed to hold its breath, the silence in the ER broken only by the gasps of the injured and the relentless beeps of the machines. They were prepared. But hours bled into one another, and the expected rush of casualties never came. Ambulances returned empty, their sirens a mournful wail against the backdrop of a city in shock. A gnawing dread replaced the initial surge of adrenaline. Where were the injured? Where was the chaos? By nightfall, the weight of the silence settled in. A chilling realization dawned on Amelia: they weren't coming. The dead couldn't be treated, the dust-laden air carried a different kind of horror. The enormity of the tragedy pressed down on them, a suffocating weight. They weren't prepared for this, the silence, the emptiness, the crushing realization of the magnitude of the loss. Days blurred into weeks. The once bustling ER became a tomb of sorts, haunted by the ghosts of what could have been. Amelia, adrift in a sea of grief, found solace in the small acts of kindness, a comforting word to a shell-shocked survivor, a gentle touch to a grieving family member. The city, once a vibrant tapestry of life, was shrouded in a pall of sorrow. One day, a lone ambulance pulled up, its wail a beacon of hope in the desolate landscape. A young woman emerged, her clothes tattered, her eyes vacant. She spoke incoherently of a dark cloud, of whispers in the dust, of figures moving in the shadows of the collapsed towers. Amelia dismissed it as trauma, a coping mechanism for the unimaginable horror she had witnessed. But the nightmares began. Amelia dreamt of the dust cloud, a swirling vortex that choked the life out of everything it touched. Whispers slithered into her dreams, a language both ancient and alien, promising oblivion. The once empty ER seemed to thrum with a malevolent energy, the shadows dancing with unseen figures. One night, a blood-curdling scream echoed from the vacant patient rooms. Amelia, heart pounding, rushed in to find the young woman from the ambulance gone. In her place, a single footprint, inhumanly large, was imprinted in the dust on the floor. A cold sweat slicked Amelia's skin. They weren't alone. The whispers grew louder, a constant presence in the sterile halls. The once familiar equipment seemed to mock them with its sterility. Amelia and her remaining staff, their faces etched with exhaustion and terror, huddled together for comfort, a fragile island in a sea of darkness. the line between reality and nightmare blurred. The dust from the collapsed towers, Amelia came to believe, wasn't just debris. It was a carrier, a doorway to something ancient and evil, awakened by the violence and despair. The whispers promised oblivion, a chilling invitation that gnawed at the edges of her sanity. One day, a single red rose bloomed on a metal gurney. It was a stark contrast to the sterile white, a symbol of life amidst the desolation. A single tear rolled down Amelia's cheek, a flicker of hope rekindled in her heart. Maybe, just maybe, they weren't entirely alone. The fight for survival, it seemed, had taken on a new form, the battle not just against the physical wounds, but against the insidious whispers and the creeping dread. Amelia, fueled by the single red rose, rallied the remaining staff. They started small, researching forgotten texts, obscure myths, anything that might shed light on the whispers and the growing darkness. Days bled into weeks, filled with dead ends and mounting despair. But then, a breakthrough. A passage in a dusty, leather-bound tome spoke of a similar event, a city swallowed by a malevolent entity fueled by human despair. The passage offered a glimmer of hope, the ritual, a desperate plea to banish the entity back to the darkness from whence it came. The ritual was dangerous, demanding a heavy price. It required an offering, a sacrifice of the purest form of life, innocence. Amelia looked around at the weary faces, the haunted eyes. There were no children here, no untouched souls. Despair threatened to engulf her again, but then she remembered the red rose. Hope, fragile as it was, bloomed anew. Hope was a form of innocence, a belief in a better tomorrow. Amelia decided to become the offering herself. The ritual was long and arduous, a desperate dance with the darkness itself. The whispers clawed at her, promising oblivion in exchange for succumbing to despair. But Amelia held firm, fueled by the memory of the rose, the symbol of the life she was fighting to protect. Just as the entity threatened to overwhelm them, a blinding light erupted from Amelia. The whispers shrieked, a sound that curdled the blood, and the shadows recoiled. The darkness, weakened by Amelia's sacrifice, retreated back into the dust cloud, leaving behind an unsettling silence. The aftermath was a blur. Amelia awoke days later in a makeshift hospital, her body weak but her spirit unbroken. The city was still healing, but the air felt lighter, the shadows less menacing. The red rose, now preserved in a glass case, stood as a constant reminder of the doctor who dared to fight not just for the living, but for the very soul of the city. The whispers never quite disappeared. A faint echo remained, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks just beneath the surface. But Amelia, and the city alongside her, learned a valuable lesson. Hope, even in the face of unimaginable horror, could be a powerful weapon. It was a lesson they carried with them, a fragile shield against the shadows, a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more similar horror stories.